What's going on, guys, and welcome to my Venom: The Last Dance review. Now, the last Venom movie that I reviewed on this channel was not great. It was pretty rough, actually. I reviewed that one pretty low. And I remember when the trailer dropped for this movie, and my expectations were actually pretty high because they were introducing a character that I actually did not know anything about. And that character was Null. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't read King in Black. So it's like, all right, this is my opportunity to try to be a little bit of a normie and just kind of see what this character is all about. You know, and then we got the trailer, and I was like, oh, okay, that looks all right. And then we never got another trailer. And then the last thing that they put out was a trailer of them talking about the first, second, and third movie. I'm not joking. That was the trailer. And when that happened, I took a step back, and I said to myself, this is a big red flag. This is a huge red flag right now. And the fact that they're not showing me much is a problem. So, with that being said, let's get on with the review then, shall we? So, what did I think about Venom: The Last Dance? I thought about putting the director and anyone who thought that anything that they did in this film was a good idea into a fucking wood chipper. Because this was one of the worst movies I have ever seen in a long time. And let me tell you something. I thought that Let There Be Carnage was bad. And honestly, I thought this one would be better. I remember I had a conversation with my brother about it. And he was like, because he saw it before me, but when he saw it, he wasn't really fully awake, so we ended up going to see it together again. And the second time around, he was like, oof, I was wrong. And I looked at him and I said, yeah, you were wrong, because this was worse than the fucking second film. I don't think I've ever seen a trilogy where I've seen it go from like this to this. Literally 1, 2, 3. Like, I have never in my life have ever seen any trilogy of anything I've ever watched do that. Or I can't remember, because that's incredible. Usually it's the, okay, first one is, good, and the second one is, like, really good, and then the third one's, like, meh. Because that was, like, the early 2000s. But apparently, in this day and age, anything can fucking happen, so we finally reached the point where movie cinema, especially with Sony, is so fucking bad, they thought it'd be a good idea to fucking do, oh, instead of that, what if we did, like, this, and then we did this? Because that's exactly what they fucking did. So, let's get into this, shall we? Where do I even fucking start? Let's start with the length of the movie. The length of the movie is only like an hour 30 minutes long. Now a lot of people say, well, it's like an hour 40, hour 50. The credits are like 10 to 20 minutes long. They're probably the longest amount of credits I've ever seen in a fucking movie ever in my entire life. Okay? So in reality, no, the movie is like an hour 30. That is the length of the movie from beginning to end, not including the fucking end credit scenes and middle credit scenes. Those, I'm not even including those. It's just talking about the movie from beginning to fucking end. So, what else? What else can I really say about the movie? The pacing. The pacing is a fucking mess. This movie goes so fucking fast that I got lost. I actually legitimately got lost about what was going on. The only thing that was consistent was like this one area of what was happening, which you end up going to at the end of the movie. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. But with the beginning, with what Eddie's doing, he keeps jumping around. So I don't know where he's going half the time. And then when you jump back to him, he's somewhere else and he's doing something else. So the movie is, the pacing is way too fast. And then when there are scenes that demand things to be a bit more slower and to be a little bit more dissecting of the fuck is going on and explain things more, it just goes right through. It doesn't even slow it down, explain it to you. And when they do explain it to you, it does this in this way where it's so fast that you can barely understand the rhyme or reason about what the hell is even going on or what the goal of this is even for. So you're watching the movie and you're just like, you want to, there's like a few scenes where they actually spend time, but those scenes still feel fast. This movie just goes fast. It goes way too fast for its own good. And then the parts where it does slow down a bit, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't matter. It's pointless. Again, let's talk about Null for a second. I want to talk about Null. Here's why I want to talk about Null. Because he didn't fucking do anything. Everything you saw about Null in the trailers, that was it. That was it. There was no him getting out of the chair, him taking his sword and fucking, fighting Venom. No, none of that. He doesn't get out of the chair. Fuck you, I don't care about spoilers right now, okay? Like, he doesn't get out of the chair. Okay, if you think there's gonna be some big fucking epic fight scene with Venom versus Null, you're gonna be disappointed. Because guess what? Do you want to know who the real main bad guy of the movie is? You want to know who the bad guy of the movie is? It's the symbiote hunter, or hunters. Yep. So, Null is not the main villain, even though he's the one sending them. You don't ever fight Null. He doesn't ever fight Null. You're just fighting the symbiote hunters, or what I should say, running away from them, because he is mostly running away most of the time in this fucking movie. He's just gunning it away from them. And I'll go more into that later, because it's fucking terrible. But no, the symbiote hunters, no, they're the main threat. It's like, what a boring fucking ass villain, nemesis wannabe. Because that's what this feels like. It feels like he's being chased by like a Resident... This is like the Resident Evil 3 you know what I mean? Like that's what I would kind of describe it as, but worse. Because at least Resident Evil 3 is good, and I love Resident Evil 3. But this is just like, what the fuck? You nemesis wannabe? Like, and it's not even like a good one. It's just a monster. You know what I mean? It's so stupid. But you wanna know what I thought was gonna happen? I remember before this movie was, when the trailer came out, I like to have this big, idea of what I thought this was gonna be. Okay? So this is what I thought it was gonna be. Right? If you guys remember the trailer, in the scenes, they got Rocket Man playing with Elton John and all that other bullshit. There's a plane, he's on a plane, stuff like that. I thought we were gonna go up in space. And I thought we were gonna fight Null. Or Venom was gonna fight Null. And I was like, oh, okay, that might be cool of him actually, going to space and fighting him. But no, that's not what happens. As a matter of fact, he never even, he barely, oh my god, he probably only goes to, maybe 2 or 3 locations in this entire fucking movie. And they're so lame and boring, and for a movie that's called The Last Dance, you picked terrible spots to make this your last dance, okay? Last dance implies your big ending, your big fucking grand finale. And let me tell you something, it wasn't even worth the price of admission for that alone. But what about the story, Mike? What's this even about? Well, Eddie gets back from his little trip to the multiverse, because remember at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, you see Eddie in the multiverse for some reason because of the fact that, I guess Venom knows who Peter Parker is or whatever, even though it's weird because, I thought that, why would he be there, right? I'll explain it later, probably in the spoiler section. I'm not going to do it here because I'll have to start actually talking about it. But he gets back from his trip from the multiverse. He comes back, and then him and Venom just decide, hey, let's go to New York. Yeah. So they're like, all right, let's go to New York. That's what the movie is about. Or that's what Eddie's and Venom's goal is to go to New York. And there's not much else that I can really say about the movie without starting to spoil it. So I'm going to leave it there. Now, this would probably be the point where I start talking about the characters and the character developments and stuff like that in the movie, because that's what I usually do to pad these fucking reviews out. I'm not going to do that, because there is no fucking character development in this movie. Eddie Brock is just Eddie Brock. Venom is just Venom. Military man and fucking, like, who gives a shit? Who cares? Who fucking cares? The only character who gets any character development is someone you don't even fucking know or even care about, which they're probably going to do a spin-off series with later, which I will explain later if I get to the spoiler section. But again, it doesn't fucking matter. It does not matter. This movie was the biggest fucking pile of nothing I have ever seen in my life. This movie was a waste of time. It was one of the most lackluster, uninspired pieces of trash I have ever seen in my entire fucking life. And I've been reviewing movies on this fucking channel for 8 fucking years. Let me tell you, Sony, you really fucked it up this time. Because I really was thinking maybe you'd learn from your mistakes and make up for what happened in the last film. But instead, you fucking did everything in your power to just look at me in the eye and spit in my fucking face and tell me, fuck you. Well, fuck you too, assholes. Well, fuck you too. I am so sick and tired, Sony. I'm done. They have held on to these Spider-Man rights, these Venom rights, these Spider-Man character rights for far too fucking long. The way I see it, they need to just lose them at this point. You need to just sell it off, because you obviously don't care enough about these characters, about these properties, without fucking ruining them first. Because that's what you've done. You've done this with Morbius. You have done this with probably going to be Kraven next, and Rhino, because that's what you're doing. Because you're trying to put together this stupid ass Sinister Six fucking bad guys. You haven't even established a fucking Spider-Man. You're probably not going to, because you don't give a fuck. And then you're trying to treat like Knowles like you're Thanos now? Is that what this shit is? It's the stupidest, lamest fucking decisions I have ever seen in my entire fucking life. It is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. I would never recommend this to my worst enemy. It was one of the most painful and most rudest movies of all time. And by the way, there's a lot of blood in this movie, which is probably what them trying to appease fans. Here's the problem though. Some of those bloody scenes, I don't even know how you fucking got past the people who rate movies. I don't know how you did that. Did you pay them off? You probably paid them off. There are scenes where you just see blood flying out of people, or where you see like people turn into fucking pink mist. And it's like, how did Sony get away with that? How did they get away with that in Marvel Spider-Man 2, the game, where Venom bites some dude's head off and you see the blood? How did you get away with that? That should be rated M. That should be rated R. How is that not rated R? How is it not rated R? And I remember I was saying that with my brother. I was like, he was like, how is this not rated R? And I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's not rated R. It's really fucking weird, man. Really fucking weird. Really disturbing, too. So, with that being said, I'm giving Venom: The Last Dance a 1 out of 10. It was one of the worst fucking things I have seen in a long time. And you guys should stay far away from this one, even more so than the second one. If you want my personal opinion, watch the first movie, and that's it. Don't bother with the second one. Don't bother with the third one. Don't even bother, okay? They have turned Venom into a fucking joke. And I am so fucking sick and tired of it. I am sick and tired of seeing this big-ass goof. Like, they turn him into a fucking goofball. They turn him into a joke. He's not even scary anymore. And then guess what's going to happen? This movie's going to bomb. This movie's going to fail. And then when they do Venom again, they're going to be like, all right, guys, sorry about that last movie. Here's Venom actually being scary now, because that's what it's going to be. And then when that does happen, I'm going to be the first one to sit there and be like, yeah, no, and I'm going to walk out. So with that being said, let's move on to the spoiler section. So there's not going to be a fucking like little thing to tell you when I'm doing spoilers. So you better get the fuck out if you care about that shit. I don't think you should, but whatever. Okay, so spoilers. Venom dies. Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, I think some of us were kind of expecting, based off of the way that this was kind of starting to feel and look. It seemed like, yeah, somebody was gonna die. Some people actually thought Eddie was gonna die. Nope, Venom died. And it was so stupid. It was so fucking stupid because, so there's a scene where, oh god, this fucking scene, where there's all these multiple symbiotes. There's all these multiple symbiote people running around. They're fighting the symbiote hunters, right? And they're all getting eaten and they're getting killed, and it's just disgusting, and I hate it. It's just like, it's just so fucking like, ugh, I just met you and now you're just dead. So everyone's dying, and then Venom decides he's like hiding in this like this fucking like chopper, and it's like, you know, burning and about to blow, like, you know, it's just on fire and shit. So Venom decides, I'm gonna be a hero, and I'm gonna grab all of the symbiote hunters. He like pulls them all in, he like stretches himself out, he pulls them all in, and then he like he kind of like takes them to like this acid thing, and he like pours the acid all over himself, and he sacrifices himself to save everybody, blah 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 blah. Here's the problem: you could have did this earlier and saved your little baby symbiote friends. Instead, no, you let all the kids die. And it's funny because in the beginning of the movie, he calls himself the Lethal Protector, where I'm like, Lethal Protector, my ass! My ass! Like, everyone's dying around you, and what are you doing? You're running away! That's what he does the whole time. That's what he's doing. He's doing this. That, like, the next shot is him running away from the fucking problem. Meanwhile, you have all these, like, baby symbiotes trying to use hosts to fight the fucking symbiote hunters, and they're just dying left and right. Like, again, wood chipper in the mouth. So the way those fucking things work is, there you go, rawr, and then they come out, and then you literally see blood splatter out of their fucking, like, neck. And it's like, how did you get away with that shit? That's not even the worst part. The Toxin, who I thought was Toxin, my brother's trying to tell me it's not Toxin now, he died. He came, and he didn't even get a fight scene. He just had a death scene. He just grabs, like, one of the symbiote hunters, and the symbiote hunter grabs him and goes, rah! And that's it. Game over. Bye. Nice knowing you. I only met you for, like, 5-10 minutes. But thanks for showing up. For nothing. It was for nothing. It was so lame. And then Agony shows up. So this doctor lady is introduced in this movie. And so her story is, she got struck by lightning as a kid with her brother. She got hit by the lightning. It traveled. They were holding hands, running away from the lightning. The lightning went to hit her, and then it went through him, and then he died. And that's her tragic backstory. So when she gets the symbiote, when she breaks open the case to use the symbiote's powers, when it latches onto her, it gets electricity powers. What? What the fuck what are you talking about? That's not how that shit works. That is not, okay, so why isn't everybody walking around with a symbiote with electricity coming out of them? They're not. You want to know why? Because that's not how our bioelectricity works in our bodies. We do have bioelectricity in our bodies. But that's not how that works, okay? This isn't like Electro, where, you know, you got Electro, and then, like, it latches onto Electro, and because he has powers of electricity, so then it can use electricity now. That's not what this is. And then it becomes the Flash. And then it becomes the fucking Flash. It just, like, grabs the other lady and runs, like, super fast. And I'm just like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Bullshit. It was just bullshit. Like, it was just like, what the fuck? And if I'm correct, there was a few other symbiotes that probably survived, the other baby ones, but it's like, all that's left now is basically just Agony. And now I hear word about maybe they might be doing a spin-off with her, and I'm just like, fuck no! Yeah, they ain't gonna fly with nobody. And again, Noel does nothing. He does nothing. All he does is sit there and growl and snarl, and it's just like, dude, fuck off. You're not scary. You're not even doing anything. And meanwhile, I'm just like watching all this happen. I would say the third act is like right here is when I really started to like lose my fucking cool, man. I started yelling. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely just one of the worst fucking movies I have ever seen in my entire life. The director did not know what they were doing. I heard they brought in the guy for the first movie, probably just to put his name on the fucking box and the fucking credits, not to actually do any directing, actually, because obviously the person who did this one was the same one who did 2. Very painfully obvious. So, yeah, man, I mean, this was awful. I mean, and then, like, apparently there was a character in the comics who was the black military guy. Again, I don't care about their fucking names. He was by the acid. He just took a grenade and killed himself because apparently acid hurts so bad that he'd rather kill himself with a grenade than fucking take it like a bitch. So he killed himself. That character's gone. There was just a lot of unnecessary deaths in this movie. And it's like them trying to be like, oh, we're making up for what happened in the Carnage movie. No, you're not. No, you're not. And as a matter of fact, you're spitting in my face saying that you could have did that, but you decided not to. So again, all of this nonsensical violence, all this shit, it was just for nothing. And, you know, Noel's whole goal is stupid. He just wants this, like, thing. He wants this, like, thing in Venom where it's, like, this, codex thing. And I remember my brother was telling me, he's like, yeah, they changed the, what that actually does, too. And I'm just like, great! Because, yeah, great. Let's change what it's actually supposed to be like and do. So again, like, this movie is a slap in the face to comic fans. It's a spit in the face to actual comic readers. It does not respect your time. It does not, this is the Joker 2 to the Venom series, to the Venom movies. That is the best way I can describe this to you. And I love that I basically just spoiled Joker 2 now, too. Yeah, Joker dies, too, in that movie. Yes, Venom dies in this movie, too. Again, it was just, it was the biggest waste of time I've ever seen in my life. It was just, you know, I even thought I was going to make this video a lot shorter. I thought it was going to end up being, like, fucking 10 minutes long. No, instead I go on this huge fucking rant, and it's just like, yep, not surprised. But, I don't know. I have nothing else to say. I mean, the Codex thing, essentially what it is it's like this thing where it's like, because, so what happened was, because of the first movie, why Noel's after him, or whatever, is because when Eddie died, Venom used his cells to heal Eddie, and that caused the Codex thing to be formed in his neck, or whatever, when he transforms into Venom. And when he can only get the Codex when he's Venom, when he's like in the form, and then that's when the symbiote hunter can see it. It's really weird, and it's really stupid. It's dumb. And then guess what? The Codex disappears when he hides in his body. The symbiote hunter can't even see him. It can't even fucking see him when it's hiding in Eddie. It's like, how? How can you not see him? It's just, this movie was stupid. It didn't know what it was doing. It didn't know what it even wanted to do. It was just a big waste of time. So, with that being said, I could talk more. I could keep going. But I don't want to. I would rather just tell you, don't watch the fucking movie. Because it's a bad movie. So, with that being said, thank you for watching. I'm out of here. Up, and away. See ya, fuckers.